I think it's very important to have good energy around you.
Hey Gooby, you're now tuned into Party Time. In today's episode, we're diving deep into the world of passion in music, focusing on Bangkok's hip-hop industry and the transformative power of self-awareness with our guest speaker, Jason Demore. Whether you're an aspiring artist, a music lover, or someone navigating their own journey of growth, we're here to share it all. Ready to turbocharge your day with us? Let's begin our voyage! Let's go! Hello, welcome back listeners. How are you guys? I am so excited to have one of our new friends, Jason, to be on this episode with us. The reason why I invited Jason to be on this episode with us is because Jason is my first friend in, the music industry who does hip-hop music. I've never had friends who are actually in the music industry and also do hip-hop music. I mean, I have friends who are in the classical music industry, but not in this genre. And it was so refreshing to get to know Jason and get to talk to Jason. So I was like, yeah, why don't we have Jason on this episode to share about his journey to music? And Jason is a really lovely person, very, very bright, have a lot of hope and believes and passionate in his music. So I would also like to introduce everyone to Jason. Jason, could you introduce yourself to our listener, please?
Gladly will. And first of all, thank you for that, and I appreciate it. Thank you both for having me. I feel like it's an honor to be here and also build upon the friendship with you guys. And so I just like to mention that. So for everyone learning about me for the first time, I'm Jason Demore, originally from New York City. As we say, the flyest borough, now living in the beautiful, vibrant city of Bangkok. And yeah, I'm excited to be in this beautiful city.
Before my invitation to you being on this podcast, we were chatting in this cafe, and then we share a lot about our beliefs, our dream, our passion. And you share a little bit about your journey from, you were in New York and then you just moved to Bangkok. First of all, this is one of the questions that I would always ask my foreigner friends who just moved to Bangkok. What made you move from, such a big city, New York City, to Bangkok?
Great question, first of all. Well, there's a few reasons why I decided to migrate over here in Bangkok. First of all, the people were really amazing, very welcoming, right? I felt like this was like an extension where I'm coming from, like Forest, New York. And what made the easy transition for myself, I feel like Bangkok have similarities to New York City as far as like the hustle and bustle, as like we like to say, like the whole noise and the energy, how things like stay open pretty late. And I'm a pretty late bird, by heart. So I could kind of appreciate that. Like if I want like some noodles, I can wake up at 3 a.m. and go grab some noodles. So New York is pretty convenient too for that. Like you could get anything you want, like around the clock. Also, like I like spicy food and pad thai. I really enjoy a nice, beautiful vegetarian pad thai. So getting it like in Thailand, like felt like so organic for myself. So I really kind of enjoyed that. So that kind of resonated with me.
I think I can totally understand the hustle and bustle because I've been to New York before and everybody's just always like heading somewhere. And like Thailand does have that reflection of like the hustle and bustle as well. Like people, it's with traffic, right? I don't know if New York has traffic because I don't really go by car that much when I'm there as a tourist. I take a lot of the subway. So, but the feeling of it does feel very similar. And I wonder, out of everywhere in the world, there are other cities that is a mega city, just like New York itself, including Bangkok. what made you pick Bangkok? You were looking through, the map maybe, and then you're like, oh, I want to go to Bangkok. This first move, it's always a really hard move, especially if you want to plan on having like a future in another country, let alone the country that speaks a different language from your mother tongue, right? It's so different. So what made you step out of that cocoon and like be brave enough to be like, I'm going to go explore Bangkok and a place with a different language, a different culture, a very different culture from well, we'll talk about this later as well. Hip hop. We don't really have like hip hop here as well. Right. So how did you end up picking Bangkok?
Well, so there's a few reasons why I end up picking Bangkok. So to answer your question really quick, as far as like the traffic, we got hella traffic in New York. Those taxis is like everywhere. People hopping in and out of taxis. Some people driving in the city for the first time as a foreigner. They can't drive. Some people like turning left or turning right on the red light and not knowing you cannot turn on red, but there's certain states that you can turn on red in the right or whatever. So there's a lot of craziness going on sometimes. So just to answer your question, yeah, we have ridiculous traffic and it's frustrating too. Just like here in, Bangkok. Why I decided to choose Bangkok? Because I felt like you could kind of migrate as far as like creating more of a bit of a community and friendships out in Bangkok. I notice most people who come to Bangkok, they're looking to kind of settle here versus like the other islands, a bit more of like a tourism situations. And I've noticed because I ventured out to quite a few places, like far as like Phuket, Koh Samui. It seems like most people that go to these islands, they're passing through the island. So you find yourself wasted energy. And I'm not going to say like everyone meets each other for a reason, whatever, like for a few days. Oh, we had a great time. We had the most amazing conversation. It was short lived, but I learned something from that, conversation. So I'm like, damn, like it's cool to meet people, but I'm like, man, I put so much energy into this relationship, and learning about this person and they're leaving in a few days. I'm like, what the hell? And I find myself starting over. I'm like, damn, this doesn't make sense. So I'm like, by nature, you're a city guy. Like I'm from the city. So I decided to say, you know what? I think Bangkok will make more sense for myself. So I decided to kind of like migrate over to Bangkok. And then I started to make more friendships. Like I met my friend Bank that owns like a few coffee shop. We became really close. He's Thai and he's a local. Also, I met a good friend, Alex. He does real estate. He's been living here for quite a few years. And I just found out like it's an easier way to meet people. And if I would say compared to everywhere else, like far as the pockets of Thailand, Bangkok is where like you feel more settled, and not to have like to wind it out or whatever, but it feels normal. You see people going to work, they're doing like their 9 to 5 or 9 to 7, whatever. So it feels like people are actually working on the island, people just chilling.
It's interesting to hear because it sounds like you didn't have a very difficult time moving from New York City to Bangkok. So sounds as if you had a very smooth,
transition.
Yeah, transition.
Not smooth, not that smooth, but we'll get to
behind the scenes. Things happening.
Yeah. So like, what's so far? Like, how long have you been here?
Great. So I've been coming here now for about back and forth for 5 years. Thailand as a whole, like I've been hopping around the different, islands. But I've been living here now for over a year, and just recently got my digital nomad visa. So it allows me to be here now for up to 5 years, which is really cool. And I wanted to kind of touch on something really quick with the hip hop stuff. That's another thing that kind of connected me to Bangkok. There's actually quite a few hip hop clubs in Bangkok. Interestingly enough, for one, is Sugar is pretty cool. They're pretty dialed in the type of hip hop music. So that made it feel like a bit familiar for myself, where I know I can get my hip hop music fix. And so that was another reason why I decided to move to Bangkok.
So Now that you are fully, I would say, like a local
Bangkokian.
Yeah, Bangkokian, like a person living, having your life, building your life in Bangkok. So how do you see yourself, especially with your passion in music, in hip hop? Like you said, you've discovered a few hip hop places where you think you can, develop or have your music continue over there. But so far, how do you find this journey going, especially with your passion in music, hip hop music?
Great question. First of all, I see it's an opening for myself, like far as like the journey. What I find, people are really open to having new artists, and particularly, being a rapper. Right. I've met quite a few Thais and places that I've been, and they just love like the hip hop music and they're fascinated. But I'm like, how do you guys rap like this? Or how do you guys rap so fast? And what's in your mind? How do you guys put these words together? And what really stood out for me too as well, they have one of the biggest hip hop festivals around the world that's called Rolling Loud. I was shocked to see how many people in the Asian market embrace hip hop music. So I'm like, wow, like hip hop is alive, like in Thailand. I'm like, whoa. I'm just seeing more and more signs like on my journey, like from, being an artist, being at places where people enjoy the music, to going to a festival where people really crazy about the music. So it just feels like, whoa, it's been a great journey so far. There was like a little hiccups along the way because my goal is to kind of learn Thai, and I want to interject myself even more in the culture. So I think it's very important to learn how to speak Thai so you can have these great conversations, because sometimes even jumping on a Grab, I'll get like even a Grab driver, but he wants to converse with me, but I don't understand what he's saying. But he's trying to ask, hey, where you from? Or kind of like, you cool? And I'm like, huh? And then he's saying other things. I'm like, oh, sorry, man. I don't know. I don't understand. So, yeah.
How did you get yourself into this hip hop music? Has this always been one of your childhood favorite?
Yeah, so it's interesting. So I always enjoyed like hip hop music. I grew up listening to like the LL Cool J's, the Biggie Smalls, the Tupac. But interestingly enough, coming from Brooklyn, it was a big dance culture, which is like it was a bridge of like reggae and kind of like hip hop music. I always enjoyed people like putting together freestyle, like battling each other with the whole dancing stuff. And I shared as far as like how people would react to music was like, wow, these people create this masterpiece of music and now people dance into it, people embracing into it. And it kind of inspired me. I'm like, I want to be that person that make that song and then you're kind of like dancing to it and battling each other and stuff like that. So as a teenager, I always used to kind of play around with writing and putting things together. And, I don't write the best. I was a scrabble writer, like a doctor's handwriting, as you say. And I enjoyed just like, rapping and freestyling and stuff like that. So.
But did you have to learn how to rap or how to write? Because to me, music is something that I consider as professional.
Right,
so,
right.
like there are those who are like naturally talented in music, but that doesn't mean they just know how to do it, right? They will still go through some kind of training, learning, studying stage. So especially for rapping as well, or for hip hop music, how, like, did you have to go through any rapping lesson? Because I can't really imagine how is the rapping lesson like. So like I said earlier, rapping to me is like tongue twister.
Yeah.
So do they make you practice like, a lot of the tongue twister thing?
Right. So essentially you have to be a little crazy. You have to be a little cuckoo. I feel like music is a feeling, right? Something that you feel, but you do need to practice to kind of hone in on that skill. But I believe music is something that comes from the heart, right? So what you're feeling, like, just look at the most amazing songs that was created. It's from a feeling. And I I mean, I don't know if there's any courses out there that teach you how to write to be a rapper. Like you either kind of have it or you don't, like to put things together, and it comes from here, what you're feeling to kind of like, because I'll even like be like writing and I don't know why this just pop in my head, but it makes sense. And it's just like people you see freestyling, like it takes a little bit for their mind to catch up with what they're saying, but it just fluently comes out. So I would say for, being a rapper, it's a feeling, being a rapper. And the more you kind of like write, the better you get at it and actually creating a sentence to make it actually make sense, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So how did you actually started your music career? Sure. After you sort of like, of course, you would do a lot of practice and have inspiration in creating your own verse, let's say. But how did you get yourself into, okay, maybe I should take a first step into doing this or that so that I can kick off my music career properly?
So I would just kind of study them in a way, like, because you have certain rappers that do things differently, right? Some people would just kind of create the lyrics and they'll try to find a beat to actually match it the way that other artists would do it, which works for me too. I need to hear the beat to get the inspiration. This sounds like something we'll create for like a beach vibe. Like I'm on the beach, I'm sipping on coconut, sipping on wine, sipping on, the time, or we in the club, we getting lit. This is what, I'm about to make a hit, so it's more like the inspiration that I got from these type of artists and then kind of watching how they create the creative process, like behind the scenes. And I decided to say, you know what, let me kind of put the pen to the paper and start to kind of like write and create the story. Because I feel like I'm a storyteller. I'm good at creating like a story. Even now, like we sit having this podcast, like I could put like a story together, and the experience and you smiling at me and when we're talking and, and he, like he just sneezed just out. Like I could create like a whole story and just put it together and just kind of make it make sense. So that's how I kind of got started, by seeing the Sean Pauls and the Biggie Smalls and the Tupacs and how they just, write to these beats. And it just inspired me. And I would also practice in the mirror too. I'll write and then I'll perform it in the mirror and see how I look and kind of like a swagger to it and stuff like that.
My close friend would know that I am pretty bad in like rhythm. Mm-hmm. So that's why I can't dance. Right. So because I'm always, on the wrong beat. So, but with hip hop, with rap, to my understanding, you need to always be, on beat and, the rhythm, the natural flow that you have. It's to me, it's a very amazing thing. Mm-hmm. So I'm also wondering, after you started to create your own music, mm-hmm. did you have any fear for publishing them or any because here's the thing, right? I think the modern people or some of the young adults these days could probably resonate to this, which is, even myself, I experienced this as well, that thinking of becoming, let's say, a content creator, mm-hmm. putting ourselves in front of the camera, in front of the public, it actually takes a lot of courage. Because that means once we put ourselves into the public, we will have to take the risk of being criticized, yep. being judged without any understanding at all. Right. And I believe music is the same thing. Right. And especially if it's, like you said, you're very passionate about the music you create. It's a story that you are trying to tell people. Sometimes it could be a story that means so much to you, mm-hmm. but then there could also be, those kind of, thoughts in our mind where, what if it doesn't work? What right. if people don't like it? Did you go through this kind of process?
Great question. So I grew up with a thick skin where I'm from. I'm fearless at life. I believe so. But what I learned, let's get that out the way. Our music is not for everyone. I'm just trying to connect whoever connects with my music. So once we get that out the way, we have an understanding, right? So I learned to not take things personal, right? Some people just like the way they feel inside, and then they need to kind of let it out on, I mean, that's their business. I don't care. Sorry you feel the way you feel, but I don't feel that way. I'm on a mission, and you may be going through something, emotions, and you feel like you need to put that type of comment or to try to trigger some kind of reaction. And I learned when most people who are negative is something that they're feeling inside. So how can I take that personal when I know the way I feel inside? So when I learned to kind of channel that energy, I'm like, it's not about them, it's about me. How do I feel about myself? How do I feel about this song? And once I've learned that, like, nothing really phases me. Do we care to a certain extent, right? We want people to enjoy our music, but guess what? Not everyone is going to enjoy our music, not every song. But we will have songs that resonate with people. Say, I love this. This got me through this moment, and just something about this resonate. Or I like when you make that sound on the beat, like, oh yeah, like this is like, it's cool, right? So I just learned to kind of like channel these type of energy, and it works really, really well. And once again, I can't stress enough, and even anyone who's listening to this, remember, if someone took the time out to write something negative or something, remember, it's not about you, it's about them. It's the way they feel inside. And that's nothing to do with you.
I love that a lot. Like, yeah, I really love that a lot. And I agree to, 120% for the things that you share. I think that those are very wise, wise, what do you call it? Wise words. And same thing, like even in our like daily life, sometimes I would have conversations with Sony, with my friends. We discuss a lot of the things, and some of the things that we discuss is also like how do we distinguish feelings, especially positive feelings, negative feelings. Where are these coming from? Is it from other people, or is it actually within us? Those are actually very good reflection practice, I would say. And one thing that I also agree a lot to is if we are confident about who we are from heart, we won't be questioning ourselves, even if the other people who don't even know us question ourselves. It like you said, everything is from within. Everything is about us, right? So yeah, and that to me, it's quite a it's not easy to achieve this kind of, I would say, level of sense of self-confidence and security as well. It takes a lot of practice and journey and life lesson in order for us to grow into having this type of mindset, I would say. So, and that makes me even, wonder more about you. How did you develop this kind of, I would say, very positive mindset? I don't meet a lot of people who naturally have this strong sense of positivity and this kind of self-confidence and secureness within yourself. Like, how did you develop this kind of mindset? Yeah.
I'm going to tell you one thing that's going to hit us, everyone, no matter what part of the earth. You're going to die.
Okay.
You're going to die.
Thanks for the reminder.
So,
in your advice also.
You're going to die. When I kind of start to understand life, it's like, you don't have time to focus on negative bullshit. You don't have time. Time is running out. What is your mission? Are you going to let this person dictate your mission to bringing you down? Are you going to let this situation continue to bring you down? Why? At the end of the day, you woke up today, you have another shot to make it. Right? You have another shot to make it. Some people didn't get that chance. Some people tomorrow, they won't get that chance. This is a borrowed life. This body right now is borrowed. Right? We're here temporarily. And once I started to sit down, I'm like, you know what, Jerry? Like, wow, look how many people didn't make it. Look through COVID. Look at the stuff. Like, we know someone who passed away, a family, a friend. Like, we can't wish them back. I wish it doesn't work like that. So if they're above kind of telling us like, hey, you don't have time to worry about what's not giving you good energy. Use that to your ability to try to go where you're trying to get to. And once I installed that in my head, I'm like, man, you know, I have my little moments, but I snap out of it that same day. I'm like, Jay, like, you got things. I snap out of it. I'm like, Jay, you are on a mission, brother. Like, you don't got time. You don't got the luxury. We're borrowed life right now. So borrowed life means get out and get it and maximum exposure for your life and where you're trying to get to. So that's what, you know, helped me to kind of channel, you know, any negative energy and ever like, yo, this is borrowed time. Okay, next.
I have a lot of thoughts. There's a lot of thoughts because I'm actually speechless because I find you very inspiring from what you've said. And so there's a lot of thoughts in my head that I'm like trying to process and trying to.
I can feel your energy challenging right now too. I
see also why Sin really, you know, she's been saying so many great things about you and how, you know, she feels so gravitated towards you as well, and the things that like the person that you are and the things that you're sharing. I'm also feeling that now. I'm like, whoa, because we didn't have a chance to get to speak to this level. And I had a thought before, but you've naturally also answered it, which was the thought that I was thinking about fearlessness that we were tackling on, the concept of fearlessness. I feel like for many people, especially artists, like we can be fearless, but at the same time, when our work is out there, we will be criticized in many ways. And I don't believe that everybody's immune to criticism, right? Like we can be fearless to put things out, but when things are out, you will still feel the wrath of the people in the society and community. People, whether or not they agree with us or disagree with us, there will be people who will say things to us. Even with the people who agree with us, right, they might have some constructive criticisms that they might share. So like one of the thoughts or questions that I had while I was listening to you is how do you deal with these sort of criticisms? Because I don't personally believe that people who are fearless can be immune to everything, right? And immunity is not a good thing as well when we're creating, because you also did mention before about how like hip hop music, it's all about feeling, right? So let's just start with this one thing. Like, how do you deal with criticism?
Sure. I look at it as two buckets. You have the negative criticism coming from a bad space. You have a proper positive criticism look from a space where, hey, I see really good in you. If you can adjust this a little bit, I think it's going to be a game changer. So I look at it, there's two types of criticism. And then to answer your question, no one is immune to a criticism. We should all be open to criticism, right? If we're not being criticized, we're not elevating. We're too comfortable. So if there's no room for growth, that means I plateaued, right? I don't want to plateau. I would want to continue growing and growing, meaning I'm getting constructive criticism by saying, hey, you know, if you add this look, you sprinkle this here, that here, this is going to kind of take things to a whole nother level where you're going. And then he say, you know what? Hey, buddy, I don't think I have anything more to share. And then you meet someone up here. Hey, if you add in this, sprinkle this. Okay, I think you can get to here, and so on, so on. So I look at it as two type of criticism. You have a negative criticism that this person, they just hate life. This is what they do. Their job is to try to, interject onto people what they're feeling and their emotions. They feel like life is unfair to them. Okay, totally get it, but sorry, you need to figure out if you need to get help with your situation. And then you have the construct, I enjoy helping people. I see something in this person. Like, look, I want to connect you with this person because I feel like this person can kind of help you where you're at and to kind of elevate you. So great question. I'll look at in two buckets.
Yeah, and like the two, I'm now very invested. Like the two category that you've categorized criticism at. I'm wondering maybe the listeners who can't really distinguish this, they might want to also hear what are your opinions about this. Like, how do you distinguish a criticism that is negative and a criticism that is positive?
Right. I would say, all right, so let's make it, let's try to kind of break it down for easy context. So say, for instance, saying like, all right, you have this red sneakers, right? I'm like, that sneakers is not my type. I don't like red. Okay. You're entitled to your opinion, right? All right. Guess what? I like red. Or the person say, you know what? I'm not really into red sneakers, but I think if you would wear this red and black color with it, I think this will match so much cooler with your outfit, what you wear. You see the difference? And you could kind of feel what the person is coming from, the space that they're coming from, right? Because it's feeling like I can see that you just kind of not happy and then you just trying to kind of push me down versus saying like, oh, I'm not really into that color, but to be honest, like if you would add something, I think it would be a bit more cooler. So it's where you're coming from with the space and you could kind of feel what they're coming from too. Or if a woman say like, oh, I like your dress, or people like, oh, I don't like, I'm not really, like you could come from like, maybe they're jealous because they feel like you look better than them. You get more attention than they do. Or I'm like, you know what, girl, if you kind of add this on, I think you, so it's just the way how they, right?
But like on top of all of this as well, that seeing you in person and seeing you talk in person, you're also such a ball of energy. There's so much energy within you. So this is another question that I have, which is,
sure,
it goes along with, it's a build up to that, the whole concept of criticisms and, in the space of artists as well. It's really hard because you're always like being criticized for everything that you do. But like what Sin has also mentioned, that you find a way to value and take time for those and the things that matter to you and all these things. These are tools and a technique that you use yourself. But to do all of these things, you need energy to be able to invest in all of this thing. Not a lot of, like some people have the tool, but they don't have the energy. They don't know how to pull positive energy within themselves to push them through. Like you said, sometimes you gave that example that you were like, you wake up one day and then you feel slightly under the weather and then you're like, hey Jay, you got to push through, you got to do that. That example that you gave me, I was like, where does that come from? Like, where do you hone on to those energies? Are these energies from, do you pull these energies from the people around you or the things that you do? What are some of the things that you do in your life to upgrade yourself and give you this sort of energy?
Well, first I start every day with like, Jay, I'm not going to take anything personal today. I'm going to be, the minute you step out the door, there's going to be negative situation, whether someone nearly about to run you over, maybe someone look at you the wrong way, they're having a bad day. But I think it's very important to have good energy around you. The people, who's that circle? Who's that small circle that, that first text you're going to get like, hey, what's going on? What we doing today? Are we meeting for lunch? I think it's a few ways. It starts with ourselves, right? Because I can't control. I can try to help to help you with your emotions, but you have to practice that, and that comes with practice. Practice positive affirmations. Listening to meditation. Maybe meditate before you're gonna step out that door, because you no longer. You're in control, but no longer, because you can't control what people will do when they go out, right? People do weird stuff. They do it like, what are you doing, dude? Like, So I come of, meditate or pray, whatever, practice some affirmations. Don't take anything personal. Secondly, make sure you have some good energy around you. You're good people. And thirdly, don't take anything personal. Practice not to take nothing personal because it's not personal at the end of the day.
I think that's also one of the huge lesson for so many people as well. Like not taking things personally. It's just I'm speaking from just a general people's perspective. Like people would just tend to say it's just so it's always easier said than done. Like because it's feeling, it's emotion, especially if the person we care about says like commented things that we don't like, and it takes a lot to really first distinguish what feeling is this? Is this coming from ego, or is this coming from a positive criticism? Like people tend to just skip and jump right away to the most immediate feeling, emotions that they get, and sadly to say, most of the time it's leaning towards the negative side. So I do agree with you. If we're able to put ourselves in a very supportive, positive community, doesn't have to be a big community. It can be just that one friend, two friend who's able to at least keep you calm, I would say, or just help you a bit from here and there. I think that would be a great help already. And self-affirmation as well. Like self-affirmation, to me, it works in a way that it's us giving ourselves beliefs. It's us telling our subconsciousness that we're worthy. We're good enough. Like don't let the external factors determine who we are, because we are who we are at this moment, right? We just have to accept ourselves as well. It definitely takes a lot for each individual to fully get to that stage of, like Jason, today I'm not gonna let any negative energy attack me because I know who I am. I deserve positive stuff, right? Yeah. So hopefully, everyone can find their own little safe community, supportive friend group as well to start off with this whole journey of growth as well.
Absolutely. And if I can add on to that, even with our cell phone, right? And I can attest to these bad habits. I think we need to try to focus on the habits, right? So make sure that we did our affirmations. We are fully prepared before we pick that phone up, right? Because the minute you pick that phone up, it's a bunch of chaos. You get text, you get email, you get this. And like, you don't know what you're going to get in on your phone, right? That could maybe trigger, I see a video that this animal were ripped to, So I think it's very important that before we pick up that phone, make sure we mentally prepared for what can, channel onto us too, as well, as I would like to add. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because a lot of people are, I noticed they're floating, and I once floating around, and like some people, you can walk past them, they won't even notice you because they're just like in their own world. And I think to be aware is to be alive. To be aware is to be alive. And you're so in tune with your environment, you see what's going on. And when you're in tune with your environment, you could kind of control what's going on, per se. You can't control everything, but you control what you're feeling inside, because you're kind of preparing yourself each day for what's going on around you.
I think both of you word things in such beautiful ways, and that's something that's very common for the both of them. It's so lovely. I'm going to reel us back a little bit back into our conversation about hip hop and about Bangkok and about your journeys here. How has it been so far for you? Like, what are you working on? Anything like for someone like me who doesn't know that the hip hop community actually exists within Thailand? You also mentioned about rolling loud, right?
Yeah.
I know of that a festival, but I did not know that it was like, hip hop or anything, because I that's not like my market that I put myself into. Have you attended Rolling Loud?
It's funny. I actually haven't attended a Rolling Loud back home, and I attended one here for the first time, which is kind of interesting, right? For me, that someone who loves hip hop, and it was truly, truly amazing experience. People a bit more well behaved. Because I'm aware of what's going on. I'm like back home, even watching it on TV, people are extra, extra rowdy. I can appreciate how well behaved and mannered people are, even just kind of like standing in line and being patient. Back home, even at concert, people are not patient back home. People trying to skip people, try to do a lot of craziness. And I noticed that like everyone just like patient waiting to kind of get through the gates and stuff like that. So that was that was pretty interesting for me. So I have a few things coming up. I'm revamping my merch line, which I'm launching some pretty cool stuff geared towards where I'm from, my culture, and also towards Thailand as well. I have the limited edition mango sticky rice merchandise that's coming out, which is pretty cool. I love mango sticky rice, so I was inspired by that. Crazy as it sounds, I love my mango sticky rice. I create merchandise behind it. And I'm coming out with a new song too as well. And I enjoy giving back. I'm planning to partner up with a Bangkok foundation where they go to the slums and give out food. So that's something dear to my heart that I want to do. I want to feed like 100 families is my goal. So I'm kind of putting that together that I'm going to be announcing pretty soon. I feel like I can kind of pull it off. I actually have friends too who want to help me put it together as well. So that's going to be really helpful too, to give back.
And as a hip-hop artist here in Bangkok, how do you navigate yourself in terms of like what you do and how you find your community, do the work that you need to do? How, like, maybe there could be people who are interested, from abroad, anywhere in the world, who would like to also come to Bangkok and maybe connect with you, maybe connect with the community. How do you find yourself navigating towards or within this community?
I put things in buckets. I have like the 5 buckets, the people that I feel that's into charity stuff. I kind of write down like far as like these different organizations, and I write down some friends' name that I think that will resonate with. And I create like a calendar. I have a life calendar that I created for myself, which is pretty effective. So I know what's going on each hour as far as like, this is my meal time, this is my manifestation time, this is my music time, this is my workout time. So I kind of put everything in a calendar based on who I plan to reach out to today, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how I kind of stay organized with what I'm trying to do.
With what you're currently working on. And so I'm pretty sure there will be more music from you coming up as well. So for those who would like to sort of like get to know more about you, not just about who you are, but also your music or the things that you do, how can people connect with you?
Sure. So they can reach me quite a few ways. They can reach me at Instagram. So it's at Jason, Jason, Demore, D as in day, More. So they can reach me on all platforms at Jason Demore. I made it easy. So you can Google me, everything. And I made it all across the platform, nice and easy.
Will you be creating any music that it's fully inspired by your life in Bangkok sometime in the near future?
Well, actually, my new single that I'm coming to, it's inspired from my life from back home and also things that I experienced here in Thailand, actually.
So was that an easy process for you to get those inspiration and put them into lyrics?
Great question. It's easy, like I was saying before, because I'm a storyteller and music is a feeling. So it's natural for me because I felt these things already and I put it down on paper. So it's kind of easy because it's a true feeling coming from the heart. So and I hope people appreciate it too.
I'm sure people will appreciate that and also get inspiration from that as well.
Inspired. There's so many talented people out there. They're just afraid to put themselves out there. We want to just get them to peek their head out a little bit and like, you can just try.
After knowing you more, especially after our episodes today, I feel like we also share such similar I would say, values as well, and also the belief of growth, and also wanting to help people to grow as well. Like you said, it's such a pity for a lot of the talents who are still hiding in their own safe zone. It would be such a lovely thing if, while we're creating our little lovely community, we can also just, send out. I will also take this opportunity to send out this invitation to those who would like to at least try, right? Or if not try, you can also get to know us, get to know Jason, to ask anything or ask for any advice for how, if it's in music, in hip hop, how can you start with producing your music like that, or how can you get inspiration from our life and then put them into the storytelling format and put them into a music format. Like what I'm trying to say is, we're all here ready to build this community, to support each other, to really, like Sony say, yank you out of the rabbit hole, I would say.
Come on. Yeah. It's important that you have to, like Jason said, you have to peek through first. It's really hard. I feel like for most people, even myself included, taking the first step is always the scariest. And if you're able to just, be willing to try and put yourself out there and, just poke your head out, there will be people like us who can find you and support you and yank you out of there.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So I would love to see more talents to, be happy and to showcase yourself, be fully passionate in the things that you do. And I wish that we can all connect with each other as well. So if you have a friend who you think that they are very potential in this kind of thing, try to help them out. And we have a community here that we're always ready. Get to know us, and we would love to also connect you with the resources that we have as well, because this is a community that all of us are trying to create here. And this is a community for growth, for a lot of possibility for all the creatives as well. And I would like to say thank you once again to Jason. It's such a lovely time to talk with you today and to get to know you on another level as well. It's so surprising for me to actually...
Oh, I can't be that surprised.
No, for the part of, like...
If she's not surprised, I am.
I do. Like, I didn't. I mean, I kind of know that you're definitely a positive person. I get that vibe, but I didn't know that you are at the level that I would. Oh, okay. Because I am, like, people who know me know that I am quite like aware of things that are happening.
Right.
I have my own practice and beliefs, and the energy thing as well, having self-awareness. So those are, very surprising new elements I found out about you, and I really, appreciate for who you are right now, and really appreciate and admire the things that you're doing, the fearlessness that you have towards your passion. It's such a great example for those who are still trying to work themselves out,
Appreciate that. Thank you so much. No, thank you for having me. Maybe we'll play some golf sometime.
Yeah. And can't wait to listen to your new singles and music, and hopefully I also get to learn more about the hip hop culture as well. Thank you so much, Jason, for today.
Thank you, Ton. I appreciate it.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Buddy Time. We hope Jason's journey through his own self-discovery has left you feeling inspired to follow your passions and embrace your personal growth. Music isn't just a beat. It's a way to connect, express, and evolve. And we hope today's conversation sparks something meaningful for you. If you enjoyed this episode and want to join our Migodi community, we would love to have you. Follow us on social media, share your thoughts, or suggest topics you would like us to dive into next. Let's grow together and keep the conversation going. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time.